If you're looking to activate that wildcard button over the international break, don't worry, I've got you covered with the ultimate team in today's video. And starting off our game week 13 wildcard, we have gone with Areola in goal. Now this is quite controversial because West Ham are garbage. They are not very good at defending, but the fixtures are definitely still there from a defensive standpoint, and with his bargain bottom price, he allows us to do a lot of sexy things with our team. Obviously coming up for them, they've got Burnley away this week, down in the bottom three. Burnley not looking too attacking as well. Then it's Crystal Palace at home, Tottenham away, not great, but then Fulham and Wolves in there as well. Arguably though, the goalkeeper that has caught my eye at the moment is Neto from Bournemouth, who is on our bench. Sheffield United away this week, then Villa, then Palace, not great, then United again, not great, but then they've got a run of Luton, Forest and Fulham. If Bournemouth can show what they did yesterday against Newcastle and kind of spin on that and put some really positive performances together, I definitely think there could be some clean sheet potential. So I think as a goalkeeper pairing, I like it. It is a little bit too pricey for me. I think if you wanted to save it, you could just go for a nice cheap extra goalkeeper on the bench there. Stick with Areola and hope that he gets something, but there isn't too many goalkeepers in the game that are kind of blowing people away. I think if you didn't want to go for a Palace defender, Johnson's a great shout. Maybe you just want to go for Sanchez and hope till game week 16, you know, that he can kind of deliver the goods, because then after that, Chelsea do have a really good fixture run, so definitely want to hop on that at some point. But for now, I think Areola and Neto probably the best pairing that you potentially could get yourself, so there's no real standout goalkeepers in the game at the moment. Maybe Raya, but I personally don't like spending that extra million on a goalkeeper. I just don't think it's worth it. And from the points that we saw yesterday and so far this season, I think you have to agree. Right, let's move on to the back line. Starting off, we are going to go with Saliba, arguably the most nailed Arsenal defender. Got himself a goal yesterday, so boosted himself up above all the other ones. Obviously, you can go for Gabriel, Ben White, Zinchenko, all these other Arsenal defenders, but it seems like they are very prone to rotation. We've seen Gabriel dropped a few times this season. We saw Ben White yesterday miss out as well. So I do think going with Saliba, with the positive fixtures coming up for Arsenal as well, Brentford, Wolves, Luton, Villa, Brighton, some really top, you know, teams that they can definitely get some clean sheets out of. Defensively as well, Arsenal aren't conceding too many opportunities in terms of XG conceded as well, so definitely a good defence, I think, where you'd want a stable player, and Saliba does offer himself up as that potential option. Moving on to our next defender, and we're going to go with Ait-Nouri. Now, Wolves are playing a 5 at the back system with wing backs, and Ait-Nouri is one of those wing backs. Not kind of overly exciting this pick, you know, he's not picking up too much attacking data, but is definitely more exciting than Craig Dawson season. Let's be real on that one. Definitely some positive fixtures coming up as well, and rotates extremely nicely with the other defenders we've got in our team. Fulham away this week, then Arsenal away next week, so you probably bench him there, but then it's Burnley, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, so after that you probably would want to take him out for a Chelsea defender. I think it's a nice placeholder to have for the next few weeks up until game week 16, and then you're probably looking at bringing in a Chelsea defender with their stellar run coming up. So I think Ait-Nouri does offer himself up as a nice defensive option. Wolves not the best defensive team in the league. I think they're around 14th for XG conceded, so I wouldn't be expecting too much, but you know, 3 positive fixtures out of the next 4. You'd hope for probably 2 clean sheets out of those 2. And then, you know, that's nice little 4.5 million defender right there. Finishing up our defence, we have gone for Mark Gahey. Crystal Palace's next 3 fixtures are arguably some of the best in the league. Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth. And then it kind of does tail off with Liverpool, City, Brighton and Chelsea. So again, at that point, if you want to take him out, probably looking at a Chelsea defender, maybe a Manchester City defender, maybe a Liverpool defender at that point. But Crystal Palace, bar the 3-2 result yesterday, still are like one of the top teams for XG conceded and still have the best joint clean sheet record in the league. Roy knows how to sort out solid defences. I think I've gone with Gahey. I included this in my transfer video yesterday as we discussed Palace assets, so if you want to go and check that out, there'll be a link to that in the description, or just go through my channel and do it that way. But yeah, I spoke about Mark Gahey and the points difference. I think it was 0.15 expected goal involvement better off was Anderson for 0.5 million. For me, that just doesn't make sense. So I think Mark Gahey is the most sensible Palace defensive option. 4.6 million, you're saving that 0.5 for, you know, not really too much in terms of data, and points-wise as well. So I definitely think it is worth going for Mark Gahey. Right, moving on into the midfield, we've gone with Saka starting us off. Now, in terms of his data, it's not quite been there. Over the past 5 game weeks, I think he's picked up 3 assists off the back of 1.03 expected goal involvement, which is dismal. I don't think he's had a single goal as well over that time period. So definitely hitting a little bit of kind of a sticky patch with Saka. I know Arsenal fans have said that they've potentially changed system, which has kind of limited his ability to get himself into goal scoring positions and overall creative positions as well. But they are still winning games, picking up results. So I think with the next 3 fixtures, definitely Brentford, Wolves and Luton coming up, definitely, you know, some good fixtures in there. I want to have Saka if I was on my wildcard for this week. The data's not there, but he's still picking up the attacking returns. Right, moving on to our next player, and it is Mohamed Salah. Off the back of a brace against Brentford today, Liverpool's next fixture in Manchester City is extremely difficult. We know how hard that game can be, but it's a big game. Anything could happen. But then after that, we are looking at some very, very saucy fixtures. Fulham, Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. Arguably, you're probably going to captain Salah in the Fulham and Sheffield United games, with Haaland having Tottenham and Aston Villa. So definitely a fantastic option to go for on your wildcard. I still can't believe how many people don't have this man in their team. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's showed so far this season the attacking intent he's got. More good fixtures to come. Obviously, game week 13, City away, not the easiest of fixtures, so you probably are looking at an alternative captain for this week, but I do have 2 of those coming up, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I definitely think for the longer term, I would like to have Salah for that Fulham and Sheffield United game. Definitely captaincy material in there over going Haaland. So yeah, definitely a player I would be looking to have in my team. Right, moving on to our next midfielder, and arguably a captaincy option for game week 13. It is Jarrod Bowen. Burnley away is a great fixture this year. We spoke about the good fixtures for West Ham earlier with Areola, and Bowen has been on fire, hasn't he? Another goal for him today. Got a cracking away record. I think it's now 7 games and 7 goals, his last away record. So really good to see Burnley away on the score sheet there as well. So, you know, could happen. I think I'm going to go with him for the armband for this week. Definitely an asset I would be looking to have. I prefer him over Kudos, and I prefer him over James Ward-Prowse. I know he picked up 2 assists today, but I still would be going for Jarrod Bowen. He seems to just be in his purple patch at the moment. Absolutely flying with his new contract. England call-ups as well, so hopefully he doesn't get injured over the international break. But like I said, definitely offering himself up as a good captaincy option for game week 13. Right, moving on to our next option. Again, another player who throws himself into captaincy contention. It is Eze, however you want to pronounce it. He's got Luton away coming up, then West Ham, and then Bournemouth at home. 2 attacking returns since his recovery from his injury as well. Obviously, Elise as well coming back into that side is massively going to help the creativity as well. We saw that against Everton. Those 2 kind of starting to link back up. Watching Eze again on the pitch is an absolute delight. If you own him, he is a wonderful player to sit down and watch at times. The way he just glides past people, brings other players into the game. He is a fantastic asset. And in terms of his data as well, it's been pretty good since his return. Played about 120 minutes and the data is pretty good. 2 attacking returns as well, like I said, on penalties for 6.1 million. A great differential as well. So I don't even think you need to give him the armband, but if you wanted to go down that route, Luton away, definitely an option if you wanted to do that. Right, let's move into our front line. We're going to start off with Erling Haaland. The City game is just approaching half-time and he has scored a penalty already. So I definitely would recommend keeping Haaland. Obviously, there was the anti-Haaland kind of hype for a little bit. They do have a blank coming up in game week 18, and the fixtures for the next 3 are quite difficult. Liverpool, Tottenham, Aston Villa. But then after that, you're looking at the Luton and Palace games where you're arguably probably going to captain him over Mohamed Salah in those 2 game weeks. So definitely there. And then game week 18, you're probably going to play her free hit. That's the way I'm currently thinking. And then you obviously got your Everton and the potential double game week coming up in around game week 20, and a strong fixture list over that Christmas period as well. So I definitely think Haaland is a player I would be looking to keep in my side. Right, moving on to our next forward, and it is Taiwo Awoniyi. Scored today for Nottingham Forest. Obviously bagged a few this season. I think that was his 5th goal of the campaign so far. And Forest's fixture run coming up is really strong. You've got Brighton, who are yet to keep a clean sheet. I don't think this should be a grey fixture on my personal ticker at the moment. Brighton aren't the same side that we saw. Obviously conceded against Sheffield United today. Defensively, they look a little bit all over the shop. So that game, I definitely think Taiwo Awoniyi is a really good shout to have. Then you've got Everton at home, Fulham away, Wolves away, then Tottenham, and then going into Bournemouth as well. But yeah, some really strong fixtures there for Taiwo Awoniyi. And even if you wanted to potentially, it doesn't quite work out, you could always switch him over to Darwin Núñez after that if it doesn't quite work out for you and your side. Right, finishing up, I've gone with kind of a one game week punt player. I was asked about this in my transfer video. It is Dominic Solanke, Sheffield United away in game week 13. A great fixture off the back of his brace against Newcastle last night. Obviously, the fixtures in terms of the next three are a little bit difficult. Obviously, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Man United, not great. But then game week 17, you're looking at Luton, Nottingham Forest, Fulham. I'm just going to scroll over to game week 20, see who they got. Oh, it's Tottenham, Liverpool. So probably after that point, game week 19, you would be selling him. But definitely a good bench option. Like I said, if you want to just go for him for this 1 week punt, that's completely acceptable. Then you can get Darwin Núñez in for the Fulham fixture, is it? The Fulham at home fixture, then the Sheffield United away fixture. So that definitely could offer itself up as a potential route to kind of get in Darwin. You go for this 1 week punt of Dominic Solanke and then obviously switch to Darwin in next week. But Dominic Solanke takes penalties. He's a key figurehead for that Bournemouth side. It seems like every other week he is on the score sheet for that side as well. Definitely a player I like to own in FPL because, like I said, he gets the penalties. He's always involved in the goals, whether that be through scoring or getting the assists as well. So really good 1 week punt and does have longer term good fixtures if you have, a way of rotating and potentially benching him around in your squad. Right, let's have a quick run through of the bench. We obviously spoke about Neto. We're going to speak about Brian and Buemo. Now, the reason we've got him, not for the game week 13 fixture. Obviously, Arsenal at home, not great. But then after that, it's Luton, Brighton, Sheffield United, and Aston Villa. Then the blank. Then Wolves at home. Then you're looking at that potential double game week as well in game week 20. But that Luton at home fixture is the one that we're going to have Brian, that we're absolutely going to be gagging to have Brian in. Again, another player who takes penalties, has been in really good form throughout this season so far, picking up quite a few double-digit hauls as well. So definitely a player I'm looking to get in for that game week 14 game against Leicester. Charlie Taylor, Burnley actually have some surprisingly good fixtures coming up. West Ham, Sheffield United, Wolves, Brighton, Everton and Fulham. You would expect maybe like 2 clean sheets in there. You probably want to play him against maybe Sheffield United, maybe Fulham if worse comes to worse. So definitely offers himself as a good rotating defender option off the bench. And then finishing up is my shout from last week. It is Murillo. Like I said, the Forest fixtures coming up, again, quite strong. Everton, Fulham, Wolves, Tottenham, Bournemouth. Some really good fixtures. So again, offer himself up as a really solid defensive option. That was the Game Week 13 wildcard. Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below. If you've got any questions about your team as well over the international break, get them in, as I will try to answer every single question. And we're super close to hitting 2,500 subs. So if you could do that, it's my goal for the year. If we could do that, it would be absolutely immense. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your day.